It's your boy Tyson, West Coast Cowboys. I'm out here with my boy Randy G, man. I want to know, I've been praised. There's been a whole bunch of questions about the linebacker core, man, but I want you to speak to the camera right there, man. Let us know the state of the union, man. What's going on with the Cowboys, man? How do you feel about the 2008? When we was in training camp, I asked you who's you going to choose for your Lifetime movie. You picked Morris Chestnut. I wanted to know, is that answer still good, man? Because the thanks for the love, man. Forever family, man. Let's go. Dallas Cowboys scouting live from the draft. Here, all right. I got Rico, man, working with a classic, man. I need to know, man, real quick, where did that song come from? Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. How are you enjoying your rookie first camp? It's your boy Tyson, the West Coast Cowboy from Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. How do you feel about continuing that legacy of Dallas Cowboy linebackers? West Coast Cowboy from Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. Shoot, man, you looking extra supreme, bro. What was that diet like in the offseason, man? Because
I can't cover it, ain't no proof. So this year, that's what people gonna see.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those naysayers who say that he can't cover, one word, what's the definition of leadership to you, brother? Tyson from Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. I see your game out here, man. You definitely bring, we have 4 quarterbacks out here. Boy, man, you were, last year, man, you were #1 in the nation in the hitch route, man. I want to know, man.
There he goes. There he goes.
On that final play, man, when you make that beeline, what was going through your head, man? I just want to know. Man, it's Tyson, the West Coast Cowboy from Dallas. Mr. Lewis, it's West Coast from Dallas Cowboy scouting. How you doing today, man? Man, what is your take on this rotation, man, this DB Nation, man? Cowboy from Dallas Cowboy scouting. I want to know, because the fans want to know, this is one of the few times where the Dallas Cowboys... When they do your Lifetime movie, who you want them to use? Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, or still Kevin Hart? Quick question. With the NFL opening up the rules on the dance, what the first INT to the house gonna look like? What? You can't say one of those, but not one of those in a good way. Five. Man, what we gotta do to get you back in that number 7 again?
Never look down because the stars are up. How about those Cowboys?
It's your boy Tyson, West Coast Cowboys. I'm out here with my boy Randy G, man. I want to know, I've been praised. There's been a whole bunch of questions about the linebacker core, man, but I want you to speak to the camera right there, man. Let us know the state of the union, man. What's going on with the Cowboys, man? How do you feel about the 2008? When we was in training camp, I asked you who's you going to choose for your Lifetime movie. You picked Morris Chestnut. I wanted to know, is that answer still good, man? Because the thanks for the love, man. Forever family, man. Let's go. Dallas Cowboys scouting live from the draft. Here, all right. I got Rico, man, working with a classic, man. I need to know, man, real quick, where did that song come from? Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. How are you enjoying your rookie first camp?
It's your boy Tyson, the West Coast Cowboy from Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. How do you feel about continuing that legacy of Dallas Cowboy linebackers?
West Coast Cowboy from Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. Shoot, man, you looking extra supreme, bro. What was that diet like in the offseason, man? Because
I can't cover it, really no proof. So this year, that's what people gonna see.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those naysayers who say that he can't cover, one word, what's the definition of leadership to you, brother?
Tyson from Dallas Cowboys Scouting, man. I see your game out here, man. You definitely bring. We have 4 quarterbacks out here.
Boy, man, you were last year, man. You were #1 in the nation in the hitch route, man. I want to know, man.
There he goes. There he goes.
On that final play, man, when you make that beeline, what was going through your head, man? Like, I just want to know.
Man, it's Tyson, the West Coast Cowboy from Dallas. Mr. Lewis, it's West Coast from Dallas Cowboy Scouting. How you doing today, man? Man, what is your take on this rotation, man, this DB Nation, man?
Cowboy from Dallas Cowboy Scouting. I want to know because the fans want to know. This is one of the few times where the Dallas Cowboys.
When they do your Lifetime movie, who you want them to use? Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, or still Kevin Hart? Quick question. With the NFL opening up the rules on the dance, what the first INT to the house gonna look like? What?
What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I know if you in the Texas area, you probably like midday. But out here in California, we are still about 10 o'clock in the morning, so we definitely hit the breakfast rush. So good morning, everybody on Facebook. Matthew, what's up with you? Mike Luna, Denise, how you doing? Carrie, what's up with you? Scout, Vicky, how you doing? Terrell, how you doing? And Quinn, how you doing over there on Facebook? Shout out to Dorothy over there on YouTube. Lauren on YouTube, Miss Dorothy again on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Hey, man, it is the morning, so I just wanted to hop on here real quick and kind of go through some things with the nation, see what you guys are thinking about this morning, and kind of figure out what we're going to do these upcoming 2 weeks, man. First off, man, before we can start the show off, can we shout out a Giants fan or a Washington fan? Because, man, this day last week of football, so let's give a quick moment of silence for those guys. Okay, now that we got that out the way, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't going to say the Philadelphia Eagles so fast because, you know, they still have a lot of stuff that they're going through. They can still play through, maybe even get into the competition. Considering they got to go to Chicago, I wouldn't even mind them getting in and going up to Chicago because if it's one team I think that could probably go out into Chicago and beat them, it's probably them Eagles. And if it's one team that can beat them Eagles for sure, it's them Dallas Cowboys. So I have no problem with whatever the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do because we have already proven twice this season that we can handle business against Philadelphia either at home or here. So, I mean, let's just put that out there because there's some Eagle fans. I'm going to be honest with you. If y'all ask me what's on my mind this morning, I want to know why the hell all these Saints fans and why these Eagle fans all of a sudden in my inbox. Like, I don't know what it is, but they have definitely gotten like this rejuvenation of just like, I don't know. And like, I'm thinking to myself, neither one of y'all should be saying anything to me because the last time we saw both y'all teams, y'all was walking off loser. You know what I'm saying? Y'all both caught L's. Philadelphia fans, I know they got their lucky rabbit's foot in by the name of Nick Foles, and they just running and gunning right now off of pure adrenaline, and that's fine. That's cool. I ain't knocking y'all. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But I just love the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles fan base is just in total confusion because you got Carson Wentz who you got paying, and you got a backup quarterback that comes in and actually pays better than him. Like, I know we have our quarterback conundrums and issues, but man, at least we know where we going and what direction we going. They still vacillating between two different dudes. So, good day to be an Eagles fan, right? And then the Washington Redskins, man. I mean, Washington, I'm happy y'all stayed out my inbox because y'all know y'all have no right. I ain't gonna say why they ain't been in my inbox, but them Saints, I just don't get it, man. There's these two Saints fans that have just been hounding me for like 3 days now. Just blowing my inbox up. Oh, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, yo, how are you going to – and they're so confident on what they're going to do to the Dallas Cowboys when they see us in the playoffs. So what that also lets me believe is the only way we would even be able to play the Saints is if we win our first game in the playoffs. So not only do they have faith that they're going to play us in the playoffs, but Saints fans actually have confidence that we're going to win our first game in the playoffs. So what you're basically saying is you have confidence that the Dallas Cowboys are a pretty good team. So if you feel that we're a pretty good team, why are you in West Coast's inbox? I'm just curious. That totally, utterly just baffles me. As far as why these different fan bases are consistently hounding your boy West Coast because I'm like, man, that makes absolutely no sense. But, yo, that was kind of like the first thing that was on my mind this morning, man. Let's get into some actual football talk. But I know y'all was probably thinking that same thing. But let's get on to some actual football talk. So yesterday, I ain't really no breaking news. I didn't want to do no show on or anything like that. But some good news that came out yesterday was Tavon Austin was a full participant in practice. I think that is absolutely. I know you know what? It's always funny to me, or not even funny because it's a good thing, obviously, but it always amazes me how people start getting instantly healthy and miraculously healed right when it's playoff time. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, everybody wants to be a part of a playoff run. Like nobody wants to be left on the sideline for a playoff run. So that's why I kept on saying, even with David Irvin, you're gonna magically see that all his little family problems and all the little stuff that was going on with him and his baby mamas and everything else, and then the knee and this there, and then his Xbox that wouldn't turn on. Just all this random stuff that happens to David Irving that requires him not to be able to play on Sunday. It's amazing how none of that stuff happens when it's playoff time. Like literally, when it comes playoff time, everybody is rearing and ready to go. So I believe it's funny. A couple weeks before the playoff game start, your injury list be like this long. Playoff game start, you have zero. I promise you, when it comes time for the playoffs, that first game against who I believe is probably going to be Seattle, you're probably going to see 0 people on the injury list. Why? Because everybody wants to play in the playoffs. It's the big dance. If I can go 50%, I'll go 50%. But everybody wants to play in the playoffs, man. So, hey, we got some. I'm just kind of thumbing around before we get some people on here. Hey, shout out to what up, Scout Al? What up with your man? What up with you, G? Good morning, Miss GG. Make sure you guys give me a share. Justin, how you doing? If you a scout, give me multiple shares, please. What's up with your OG, Carrie? What's up with you, Justin? He says when people are worried, they act tough, no problems. They can get their hands again. What up with you, my hitter? As Carrie says, I hope to see Tavon dancing in the end zone instead of on the sidelines. That is a good point. Vondell says, is Tavon back this week? Actually, you just hopped in the show right in the right time. Tavon Austin actually was back at practice yesterday, and he was actually a full participant. That means he was not off on the sides. That means that he was on the field getting integrated into the offense. I think this is an absolutely great thing. Why? Because you're going to see him in this Giants game, and I wanted to see Tavon Austin before the playoff game. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Because of the weather, it's about to snow, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. If the ground is actually white, then my whole game plan is gonna totally change. Because if the ground is actually white, I want to just run. And to be honest with you, if we're gonna do that, if the ground is actually white, I would be okay with Zeke not even playing. To be honest with you, because you're playing outside in the snow, like, you know what I'm saying. And the thing about it is, when you play in those type of weather, whichever team can run better is going to be the team going to win, because they're not going to be throwing the ball either. And my thing is this. With Darius Jackson and Rod Smith, the Giants don't have Snacks Harrison anymore. So it's not like they have like this formidable defensive line. And then, like I told you guys yesterday, the Giants have more reason to lose this game. Like, they're currently slotted at the 8th or 9th pick in the draft. If they win, they will easily, with 6 wins, easily drop to 14 or 15. Easily. Why? Because there's a lot of teams in the NFL that only won 5 games this year. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe there was that lets me know that either one or two things that happened. Like, there was either a bunch of bad teams or that the teams at the top were really good. I would lean to see the fact that the teams were, it was more good teams than bad teams. Why? Because look at the teams who we lost to. I think every team we lost to this year, except for Washington, is going to the playoffs, because Tennessee's going. Not Tennessee. Tennessee's in. They're in the hunts. Their fates will be decided this week. Houston's in the playoffs. Seattle, we're going to play them. North Carolina. Oh, there goes another one. North Carolina. So North Carolina. We lost to 2 teams. We have 2 losses against teams that aren't going to playoffs. But our other losses that we have this year are all playoff teams. You know what I'm saying? So, I kind of, it lets me know that the NFL, there wasn't as much parity in the NFL as there normally is. You know what I'm saying? Usually there's a clear, defined team that's just the best. I would say this year you really didn't have that.
I'm not going to say the Saints. Why? Because we beat them and we held them to 10 points. We took away the thing that they enjoy, the thing that they do the best. We limited. We totally shut it down. So I can't just put out there the Saints. Like if I was a non-Cowboy fan, I could probably say the Saints because then I would probably be hating on the Cowboys. But as a Cowboy fan who scouted them, I knew going into that game we were going to beat them. I just knew it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even knew it. We talked about it very heavily here on Dallas Cowboys Scouting and on the YouTubes. You know what I'm saying? So, but I can't really say the same. But there wasn't really no clear, like if you think about it, what was the clear best team in the NFL this year? There really wasn't one. Like you want to say the Rams, bruh, they gave up 40 points like twice. I don't give a dang about nobody. You're not, like I think it was week 5 when I started, like, week 4 was when I started watching them. I was like, because my boy Jason Brantley, he a big Rams fan. I played ball with him. He be on my show too. He always be talking about the Rams. He was calling Los Angeles. He had the t-shirts made up and everything. Los Angeles. So I started watching him because he was talking big head. So I was like, I'm gonna start watching these Rams. And then about week 4, they looked good. I watched that next week, and then it was that game against Kansas City. And then I was like, and honestly, it really wasn't the game against Kansas City. It was really the game against Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers went out there and almost beat them boys. And I was like, because I knew Green Bay wasn't a good team. So I was like, yeah, they kind of suspect. So there really hasn't been, and you want to say Kansas City? Not so much. You know what I'm saying? So there really hasn't been like that clear, like really good team or that clear defined. Even New England. New England's like number 2 in the AFC right now. They're normally 1. You know what I'm saying? So there hasn't been really like that clear defined, like great team all year. So, I mean, for the most part, every team just did what they had to do to get their truck to the race so they could at least get into the dance. I mean, and that's what the Dallas Cowboys did. We did it by means of going the record that we are right now. But, I would love to be more confident going into the playoffs. I would offensively, simply because, in the playoffs, you typically you're going to have to score points. But one thing that I like about this playoff run is if you are a team that has a problem with scoring points, the fact that you're only going to be playing one more game outside and it's a game that really doesn't matter, which is the Giants game. Like, think about this. The Dallas Cowboys, I always say, because I'm not going to never say the Cowboys aren't going to make a run to the Super Bowl. So anything I say is always trying to get us to the dance. Well, think about this. Unless the Dallas Cowboys come to L.A., which is, I'm going to tell you right now, we have great weather. My big cousin is in here, Shantae. He can vouch for this. We having good weather right now. But if you look at outside of that, Dallas Cowboys, that's inside. If you go to New Orleans, that's inside. Super Bowl, where's that going to be? That's in Atlanta. That's inside. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to Minnesota, but even if you did, you're still inside. The Dallas Cowboys play one game outside, and that's this week. We have an opportunity to play one more game outside unless we come to LA, which is going to be equivalent to playing inside. So I mean, if there's any time where you are saying where even the weather and just small, minute things like that can help you, I definitely think for our team, that's something that could definitely help us. Why? Because that lets you know that there should never, outside of this Giants game, there should never be a time where weather is going to be able to affect the play of the ball or anything like that. And we've actually, I think that actually helped us on that 5-game running streak, because think about this. When a lot of good teams were playing outside in the cold, we was playing inside. Even in Indianapolis. You know what I'm saying? When they ran all over us, you know what I'm saying? We were still inside. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys, we've had the luxury of playing inside dang near since week of 9, I think it is. So for all my people, Chester saying feed Zeke, you absolutely right, man. This is the best environment to feed Zeke. I mean, it's going to be a controlled environment. That means everything you practice at practice, you'll be able to produce out there in the game field. Why? Because there won't be no outside factors. The only outside factors will be you not going out there and executing. But you're not going to have to adjust to rain. You're not going to have to adjust to any of that. You're not going to adjust to any of that. None of that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to adjust to you executing. I want to take a little overview of the page real quick. Go over some things that we've been talking about on the page here. First thing is, if you guys didn't know, late last night I posted it, but West Coast will be going to the playoff game. I got my itinerary yesterday, well, late last night, we booked everything, got everything taken care of. So, man, if you're going to the playoff game and you want to meet up, please holla at your boy because I definitely will be there this game rooting my boys on, man. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, when playoffs come, it's not about if you a Dak lover or a Dak hater. Who cares with all that crap, man? It's about doing whatever you got to do to win the next game because at the end of the day in the playoffs, you don't never look at the stats until you do one or two things. That's either lose or win it all. So, I mean, and I'm trying to go with the latter. So, you know, all that other stuff, man, we can leave that stuff alone. If you guys notice over the last, I keep it real with you guys. I probably stopped breaking down Dak Prescott film probably about a month and a half ago. Why? Because it's the same thing. And at the end of the day, when you get to the playoffs, it's going to be a lot of ugly games. Now, I'm not trying to make that as an excuse or give any type of an excuse for bad production or anything like that. But I will say this, when you are in the playoffs, you're going to do what you got to do to win games, man. And one thing I do say this is, and I've been kind of preaching, I ain't even saying I've been preaching against it, but I haven't been the biggest proponent of this. But, man, the facts are the facts. And the facts are this, man. Freaking Dak Prescott got to run the ball, man. So if that means West Coast is going to have to admit that he was wrong, then guess what, man? I admit that I was wrong. Dak Prescott got to run the freaking ball, man. He has to run the freaking ball. Dak Prescott has 18 total rushing TDs since entering the league in 2016, the most among QBs. You know what I'm saying? That his ability to run the ball needs to be our tight end. You know what I'm saying? That can be our tight end right there. To be honest with you, also, that him running the ball in the end zone needs to be an option on almost every play. Why? Because you got to think like this. If they're expecting it, that means they're going to have to gear to it so that when he fakes it to Zeke, that means there's going to be a time where he can fake it to Zeke and Zeke is going to be open. Why? Because they're reading the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that you can do with the RPO, especially inside the end zone. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. You guys know I try to be consistent as I absolutely can be. And in the middle of the field, in the 50, the 40-yard line, I'm not really big on Dak Prescott running the ball. Why? Because he fumbles the ball. That's just being real. He fumbles the ball. If he is going to run the ball, I want him to run in short places where the end result is a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Where Dak can use his 200 and whatever pound frame he has to just lean into the end zone. You know what I'm saying? And if you are going to fumble trying to do it, fumble trying to get in it. I mean, don't fumble ever in life. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to be giving these extra pushes, these extra umphs to try to get something, I want it to be for a touchdown and not for just a yard. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted. I want it to be for a touchdown. Like, if we're going to go all in trying to get me a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with mistakes trying to score. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? When you rob a bank, sometimes stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? You don't put enough gas in the getaway car, you got to steal another car. Can't be mad at the getaway driver. You just got to move and keep going. As long as you got the money at the end of the day. And to be honest with you, that's the mentality that we really got to go in. Be honest with you, on my shows, I do a lot of fact checking, and we talk a lot of facts. But you guys also know that on Friday, what do I always say? Come Friday, it's what? It's Faith Friday. You know what I'm saying? We're going to put the facts away and put on our faith hats and have some faith in these boys that something spectacular is going to happen, because miracles happen in games all the time. Special stuff happen in games all the time. You know what I'm saying? So when this playoffs, to be honest with you, that's what it's really going to be about, man. Like, I am already on Seattle. I'm even looking a little bit at Minnesota, because there is a little bit of chance that we might play Minnesota. I mean, anything absolutely can happen. So I am looking at Minnesota also. But for the most part, I'm preparing myself for Seattle. And to be honest with you, the game plan that I come up with for the Cowboys to beat the Seattle Seahawks, if they go a totally different direction, guess what? Nobody's going to care. At the end of the day, you're just going to be caring about that dub. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, though. Come offseason, all that stuff will be evaluated. You know what I'm saying? Because you will get paid on your production. This is a production-based company. The Dallas Cowboys, we are like I used to tell my sales reps, we are a performance-based company. We don't sell cell phones. We are a performance-based company. You get paid off your performance. You know what I'm saying? So this is still the Dallas Cowboys are still a performance-based company. So he is still going to get evaluated off of that. But I'm going to be honest with you. This is your one time in life where everybody gets a pass as long as you get the dub. Let me go back over here. So that is something, come and then also the cool thing about it is someone said that this could also be used as a secret weapon. You're absolutely right. This could be used as a secret weapon because it's something that we haven't really used. You know what I'm saying? We went away from it. It was something that we used pretty well last year, 2017. We used it a lot, and we kind of went away from it this year. I think because of the fumbling and the ball protection issues. You know what I'm saying? And that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to continue to keep giving a ball, putting a guy in a position to fail if he's shown to put the ball on the ground. You're just not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we're going to go on to our next subject. My boy Randy Gregory, man. Let's see if y'all can see this. This is an interview I did with Randy Gregory back at training camp. I don't know if you guys got to see this, but this is back in July. This is actually, I think, like the third day of him being at training camp. Some backstory. Randy Gregory and my little brother played at JUCO ball together. So, kind of know him a little personally and stuff like that. So that was real cool to meet, to get out there and kick it with him and hang out. But the main point of me showing you guys this is the question I was talking to Randy Gregory was the exact same thing that everybody in America is finally seeing right now. And that is his bend. His ability to bend over without touching the ground, neither falling, is ridiculous. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is something that I saw at, I've just seen it with Randy Gregory since he was in junior college. But I know this is something that really made the Cowboys want to keep him because it's just ridiculous. Like the way he's able to bend is ridiculous. So I'm gonna see if I can zoom this in and we can listen to this interview real quick. I ain't gonna lie, this was a real mama I made it moment. All right, there we go.
You know what I'm saying? What's up with you guys? Got your plan coming around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's recording, right? Yeah. It's your boy Tyson West.
So basically, right then, he was just asking me like, what did we want to talk about? What was the question? Because at this time, a lot of people don't know, but Randy Gregory had this older gentleman with him. This dude probably like 82 years old. Well, everything that happened with Randy Gregory had to go through this older gentleman there first. And so, before you can ask any interviews, the Cowboys did a really good job of protecting him, PR-wise. They did a phenomenal job of protecting him. And, this older dude, at the hotel, it's rumored that, I don't know if this is for sure, and I didn't ask him, but it's rumored that they actually shared rooms the whole entire training camp. And I'm like, bruh, I would hate to share a whole, because I know he snore. The old man looked too old not to snore. But just what the Cowboys did to really protect Randy Gregory and to protect their investment. Because you got to remember, Randy Gregory was an investment. They invested in him, and they had to wait 2 years to get some play on that investment. So let's listen to what he's talking about. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because, he wanted to know what the question was before I asked. So I'm giving you a little backstory.
I'm out here with my boy Randy G, man. I want to know, what's up with you guys? Got your plan coming around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's recording, right? Yeah. It's your boy Tyson West. I'm out here with my boy Randy G, man. I want to know, I've been praising him all year, man. The number one thing I love about this guy is the bend, the B-E-N-D, man. I want to know, man, shoot, what is it you have in these last 2 years? Is there anything you add to your technique that's just going to make you what we already know to be, other than what we already see?
I think the big thing is honing the skills you already have, big question is if I'm conditioned, if I'm conditioned enough, staying strong, things like that. Ankle flexion, something like that, stuff like that. So that's really the main thing I'm working on, hand fight, that's really what being able to put the real in. Boxing, you get your hands on the man quicker, and I think I do that pretty well, but I got to work on it. It's going to make me get work on the fly season, and I'm excited to see how I do this season.
Man, I heard that, man. Hey, man, this is family, man, so I appreciate the love, man. I pray blessings on you, buddy. I appreciate you blessing me.
Yeah, that made me feel good, man. So, yeah. All right, so let's get up out of here. So that was the interview I did with Randy Gregory at training camp, and just kind of talking about then we were talking about just the Ben, his ability to get around offensive linemen, left tackles, right tackles, just his ability to just literally get around them without his ability to literally just tilt his body over without them touching him and still keep maintaining speed and getting to the quarterback. Like, you're seeing a lot of that right now. And the funny thing about it is, like, if you go see a lot of these strip fumbles and stuff like that with his length and his ability, like, bro, he almost like Mr. Stretch Armstrong, like the way he gets his arms out there. And I'm going to tell you, there's not a time, every single game that Randy Gregory has played, some offensive lineman has held him at some point. Like, he's at that point where David Irving is either going to get a sack or a holding call, because you got to. Like, you just have to. Like, he's either going to get a sack at some point or the offensive lineman guarding him is going to get a hold call called him at some point. Why? Because their length and their bend is ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But, yo, man, this was kind of like a little quick hitter show, man. I just wanted to jump in here and just touch on a few things, man. Before we get ready for this playoff, we got to get ready for this Giants game first. But I believe this Giants game is just a setup for what we about to do next week. I definitely believe it. Jerry Jones already kind of confirmed it by saying the people who were going to play and the people who aren't going to play. Somebody's name who has not come up yet, and I have no clue what the heck is going on with him, is David Irving. I see a couple people asking me about David Irving. I'm going to be honest with you, I have no clue about what's going on with David Irving. And you got to think like this. David Irving has not been active this entire season. So if you do just automatically just decide to activate him and put him on the roster, who are you taking off? I would assume it'd probably be someone on the offensive side of the ball, because everybody on the defense has pretty much earned their right to be there. You know what I'm saying? So who are you taking off the field? You know what I'm saying? And then think about this. You got to find a spot for Anthony Brown, because Anthony Brown will be available in the playoffs. He didn't play this past week. So that's my question. Who are you taking off the field to put David Irving on the field? And I think that's going to be the biggest conundrum. They're going to figure it out. They have to, because if you didn't, why would you even be going through this with David Irving? You would have cut and released him a long time. So somebody is going to get cut and released, you know what I'm saying, so that he can make it onto the field. But I'm just curious to know who is that person. Carey says he heard, Scout Carey says he heard he's not even at the facility. I mean, I'm going to try to look into that to find out what's going on. But, I mean, you have one game. I see it like this. If David Irving don't play this year, I mean, if he doesn't, I don't know, man. I think that would just be weird. Like, why didn't you cut him? Like, did you literally just keep him on your team so that nobody is like, did y'all fantasy football him? Like, where you draft someone just so that somebody else won't get him? Christopher says Hearns. I don't know about Hearns, because they like Hearns on the field when they go in that 4 wide receiver set. Like, you got to think like this. Hearns, we may not appreciate what he does, but you put Hearns in that 4 receiver set, he's now on a 3rd, 4th string wide receiver. Hearns on a 3rd, 4th wide receiver is a matchup problem. Ricky Starbreezy says one of the tight ends. So you saying Rico's is going to no longer be deactivated, because we all know they love them some Schultz and the other boy and Jarwin. And then the thing about it is, I don't even know if you can do the 3 tight ends, because think of this, on the 4th and 1 play against Philadelphia, when we needed the 4th and 1, when we needed the first down, and think about this, was the fullback on the field? No. Fullback was not on the field. Who'd they bring in? They brought in 3 tight ends. Anthony Brown will take Jackson's spot. Because remember, Jackson was active, but Anthony Brown wasn't active. Anthony Brown will be active. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't play last week. Okay, Lance Lenore released and cleared practice waiver. Okay, like that. That was just their way of getting him back off the active roster. That's all that was. Because remember, they activated him for a couple weeks. So if he's activated, you gotta go through that process to get him off too. So you can't just take someone from the starting and then put them on the practice squad. It don't work that way. You gotta release them, and then they go through waivers, and other teams can have action at them. So that's the only reason. That's why I didn't really make a deal out of Lance Lenore, because I knew that was the whole reason. They just they were hoping that he got him back, and they did. But yeah, somebody says Jackson. Like I was saying, Jackson will take. What up with you, E. Kush? What up with you, Scout? Jackson is taking Anthony Brown's spot right now. Because remember, Anthony Brown's not active right now. And then you had Taco, who was active this week too. He's a guy that hasn't been active also. And honestly, to be honest with you, it's going to be kind of weird because you're going to need extra offensive linemen because you can't take a chance with what. Come on, bro. I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but like you're going to need some extra. You're going to need at least 2 extra offensive linemen. So they're going to have to figure it out, though. They definitely going to have to figure it out. But, yo, man, I appreciate you guys. I've been on here for about 40 minutes. I just wanted to get on here and just say a couple things, chop it up with y'all. I'm going to do another show later on tonight. So if you guys want to tune in, make sure you do. I appreciate you guys. You already know what it is. Never look down because the stars are up. Peace.